welcome back to the channel. I've returned with a new haircut. I'm now feeling the cold. As our intro said, we have come to Omaha Beach today. So there's plenty of things to look at. So we're going to go have a bit of an explore, have a look around, maybe even get a coffee as well while we're here. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps the channel.
Oh, don't get run over.
Don't get run over while we cross the road. Give us a thumbs up, and we hope you enjoy the video. So let's get exploring.
So for anybody that doesn't know, Omaha Beach was one of the 5 landing beaches as part of the D-Day landings on the 6th of June 1944 to liberate France from the German troops. Over 30,000 American troops actually landed here in the morning of the 6th of June, and they were up against only 1,200, I think, I'll have to double check that, German troops, which they thought that they would have been able to have liberated this area quite quickly, but it actually turned into the bloodiest battle of all of the D-Day landings. So when the American troops landed, there was actually 43,250 infantry that they had. They also had 2 battleships, 3 cruisers, 13 destroyers and 1,010 other vehicles. However, the Germans had 7,800 soldiers, 8 artillery bunkers, 35 pillboxes, 4 artillery pieces, 6 mortar pits, 18 anti-tank guns, 45 rocket launcher sites, 85 machine gun sites and 6 tank turrets. So although the Americans way outweighed the Germans in numbers, you can see what they were up against, and there was an awful lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? There was an awful lot of defences that the Germans had. So the assault on this beach actually started at 6:30 in the morning on the 6th of June, and the day before, the American and British Air Forces sent tens of thousands of bombs over this area to try and destroy all of the German defences before they got to the beaches. However, it was a really foggy evening, and a lot of the bombs actually ended up going too far inland, a couple of kilometres. But they didn't know that until they actually landed on the beach. So the German soldiers could obviously see them coming from miles off because it's really open bit of sea, and the Americans didn't know that the Germans could see them. So they waited until a lot of the soldiers were off of the landing crafts before they opened fire. And there was 2,400 in the first wave, and I think there was only about a few hundred people that actually survived that first wave, because the German soldiers were all under cover up on the cliff tops. So we are walking along the beach, heading up to see some of the bunkers. When the troops first landed here at 6:30 in the morning, it was very disorganised, which is why so many people died so early, and nobody really knew where they were going, even though they'd been briefed on it the day before. And that's why there were so many losses. At the end of D-Day, I think it was a couple of days later, 7th or 8th of June, it was actually nicknamed Bloody Omaha because the most amount of casualties happened on this beach. They don't really know how many German troops died, estimated to be about 1,500, but over 5,000 American troops lost their lives on these beaches.
Quite a lot. On a jollier note though, it is a lovely place to come. I mean, it's a huge beach. You can see the cliffs right at the other end, all the way down where we're walking to the other side. Okay, so one of the sort of byproducts, if you like, of what happened here was that during the war there was over 1 million tons of supplies dropped on this beach for the soldiers to help them get up. And it took several companies until the late 50s to try and remove a good in excess of 150,000 tons of scrap that was on the beach. So that just shows how much was actually left behind after what happened. It's pretty incredible.
It also says on this info board that because of the over 1 million tons of stuff that was here, there was an artificial harbour built, and at the time it was the largest harbour in Europe.
Yeah, if you look back over our videos, I can't remember which one it was, but I'll leave the link up here. We actually went to go and see some of the bunkers up on the hilltops, and from there you could see the artificial harbour
At Mulberry Beach.
Mulberry Beach, yeah, so go and check out that video. But yeah, even at low tide here today, you can still see some of the remains that were here of some of the harbours and pontoons that were left behind, big metal craters. And obviously even today they're still digging and they're still finding bunkers and remains, and I've, at least in the year that I've been here, I've at least seen 1 or 2 news things that says they found unexploded bombs still on this beach. So
yeah. One quite recently, wasn't there, in the last 6 months?
Yeah, I think there might have been. So it's quite an incredible place to come and have a look.
It is.
So we're going to carry on walking down here, see if we can find some bunkers, and see what else we can find.
So we've made it to the first bunker, which has partially been destroyed, and it was destroyed by a vessel that was 1 kilometre off the coastline, so quite a long way. And it was then used as a command post for the American Army officers. This was the first road just next to us that was opened up to, because all the bunkers are up on this hill, all the German bunkers. So this was the first road that was opened up so that the American soldiers could get their tanks and trucks and stuff up to the top to try and defend the rest of it.
So as you can see, we're right on the top of the hill now. You can see right the way down onto the beach, pretty incredible sight. And we've just seen out the corner of our eye, and I just had a quick Google, that there's a field just behind us here. You can just see in the background. I think we'll stick some footage in. But the farmer that owns this field, as a mark of respect for what happened here, always plants poppies along the edge of his field. It's quite an impressive sight. I'll lift up so you can see. You check out our Instagram account, I'll see if I can get some photos. That was quite an intense climb down.
That was horrible.
A couple of dodgy steps. If you do this walk, I recommend that you do the same way that we did, because going up that way will be really challenging and actually quite dangerous, because those steps were quite tough. So we're just making our way now back towards the beach.
So we are heading back to the main monument to try and find a coffee.
Coffee! There
is obviously tons and tons and tons of really interesting facts and information about this beach. I found out some really interesting stuff about amphibious tanks, but we don't want to bore you all, so I'm going to put it in our blog. We'll put the link in the description box below. So if you want to know more about the beach or anywhere we go, I usually write a blog about it, so check it out. So I hope you can hear me okay. There is a coach load of children that have just turned up, but there are a couple of bunkers here. We're at, I think it's Colville-sur-Mer, and it's the town that's right in the middle of the Omaha Beach, which spans 5 miles along the coast. So in the videos before, you'll see there's like a little cove, and there's one at the other side as well. And this is where the American troops were aiming for, to try and liberate the country of the German troops. So we're right up on the top of a hill. I'm not sure what the bunkers are. We're going to have a look and do a bit of Googling. But I'm hoping, if you saw our video of the bunkers in the Netherlands, I managed to find the toilet. So I'm hoping these aren't the toilet ones. But Matt's gone down to have a look. He's taking some videos. So yeah, we'll have another explore round, see what's here, and show you a bit. It's starting to get a bit drizzly, and you can see it's quite windy. But it's a really poignant place to visit, and we chose the D-Day beaches this week because it was D-Day on Monday just gone. So it's quite touching and poignant to think so many people lost their lives here in trying to liberate the country of German troops.
I'm sorry for the times I forget what it was like living life like a silhouette, tracing the lines and ignore what's inside, till you came into my life. Sometimes I see it all so clear. You are the reason I'm here. I was in the dark, but you were the light, guiding me through this night. Guide me through this night. I keep my head up towards the sky and look for you like a satellite. When things go wrong and I'm out of touch, you always find a way to settle.
So as you just saw, we went to go and check out the little bunkers just as the school arrived. Where we're walking right now, so these fields that are just here, and they're what known as the Normandy death camp. So these fields were mass graves when the Americans came up on to liberate all these bunkers. They put all the bodies of the German soldiers and the American soldiers off the beach. They pulled them up to the top of the hill here, and they buried them all with full honours. So all the soldiers, German, whether they're Ally or German, were all buried with full honours here, which is quite amazing. Shows a bit of humanity to something that was so terrible.
Is this love and will it last? I couldn't help but laugh. Thought I was the only one wondering now.
Right now we're on top of another one of the bunkers, and this area is just full. It's a whole tunnel network and bunkers, and we're on top of what's now the memorial for the 5th Engineer Special Brigade, and there's just so many bunkers, so many tunnels everywhere, all the way up that hill that we've just walked down. That is just a complete network. And you can see how exposed those poor soldiers would have been. And they had to run, it was quite badly planned, and on actual D-Day at 6:30 in the morning, the tide was out. They had to run half a kilometre to get to any safety. So it's I'm finding it quite emotional. It's a very poignant place to come.
So that's us finished our walk around the bunkers. Hopefully you can hear me, it is quite windy. Try and shelter the mic a little bit. It really does hit home a little bit when you walk around these places, everything that happened and how you don't want history to repeat itself ever again. We were just saying how all the kids that have come to visit here, we don't think it really drummed into them what actually happened. it's just a fun day out, which is kind of sad that that's not educated into a lot of history nowadays. But we're probably going to end our vlog here. So as usual, thank you so much for watching. We went for a coffee earlier. Check out buy us a coffee and our Patreon page. I'll put the links at the bottom and in the description. So yeah, we're probably going to call it a day for today before the rain comes. As always, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really is helping us grow. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and click the little bell to notify you when our video comes out next Friday. And we will see you all then.
And we know where we're going next week, don't we?
We're going, yeah, where are we going?
We're going to Bayer.
Bayer next week. So yeah, don't want to miss that one. So see you all then.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.